Thank you, Madam Chairman, Chairperson, sorry. Honored guests, friends. When the Icelandic Canadian Front decided to nominate Stefan for the Joan Inga Ilsen Kadam Award, we did check out the criteria, and we felt that Stefan was most deserving of this award. He definitely fills all these criteria. Stefan has made a large impact on the Icelandic community through his writing, editing, storytelling, lectures, and sermons. And for those that follow Facebook, it's a treat to read. So if you haven't done that before, he always has very interesting items on there that give you food for thought. Stefan, as many of you know, is presently editor of the Lundberg Hemstreama, our Icelandic community newspaper that keeps the Icelandic community connected. As well as editing the newspaper, Stefan also writes many rich, interesting articles which make our Icelandic heritage come alive. He has served as minister of the historically Icelandic Unitarian congregations in Árborg and Gimli. And I know his sermons reach far beyond Gimli and Árborg, because my aunt and uncle who live in Oklahoma, although now they're infirm and no longer come up to Gimli, but up until a year ago, they came every summer, spent time at Arnis, Manitoba, but they would never miss a Stefan sermon. They loved him. Stefan, who is in love with Winnipeg's rich culture and history, is a historian by avocation. His writings have appeared in the Encyclopedia of Manitoba, the Dictionary of Canadian Biography, Brookside Cemetery, A Celebration of Life, and numerous other books and magazines. Stefan, as a community builder, has been featured in the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce's book, Inspire, Influence, and Invest, a profile of community leadership. And he was one of the people that was presented as 33 of Winnipeg's exemplary leaders. He also has found great joy in serving as volunteer as a long tenured board member of the Icelandic Connection, a member of the Interfaith Roundtable in Winnipeg, and currently on the board of the INL. Because of his knowledge and storytelling abilities, at the request of the Consul General of Iceland in Winnipeg, Stefan has been a frequent tour guide of people that have come from Iceland to visit, and he's also led tour groups of North Americans to Iceland. Last year, Stefan was selected as the 2017 International Visitors Lecturer for the INL. And he visited and traveled Iceland for several weeks. And I believe he spoke in about 5 different communities, where he shared his extensive knowledge of the Icelandic communities in North America and the history of Icelandic immigration. He's also a graduate of University of Winnipeg, where he holds degrees in arts and theology. And of course, Stefan would win the gold medal for for religious studies and the Governor General's gold medal for academic excellence. And since graduation, he continues to give back to his community at the university. He served as a member of the Development Council of the University of Winnipeg's Faculty of Theology, as president of the University of Winnipeg's Alumni Association, and currently sits on the university's Board of Regents. And to top it off, wouldn't you know it, Queen Elizabeth II gave him a Diamond Jubilee Award in recognition of his community service. But, you know what? It's the smaller things that makes Stefan special. It's not all those big things that he does. I mean, it is the big things he does, but it's also the little things he does. And often in our community in Winnipeg and Gimli and Arbor and around, that other people may, here in the room would know about, he often comes and takes the time to give little talks. And he's so knowledgeable that we're always enriched. Like a couple of weeks ago, he was at our Icelandic brunch at the Scandinavian Center and gave a wonderful little talk about an Icelandic poet, and he kept everybody mesmerized. Now, who would think they go for Sunday brunch and would be listening about an Icelandic poet? But we did, and we enjoyed it thoroughly. Or I went to the Solskjaer Choir, which is our local Icelandic choir, and they were having a special event, and Stefan's asked to be the MC. And again, just knowledgeable, he gave us the history of all the songs they were singing. It was really inspiring. Or we went to Beer Day a couple of years ago, and Stefan gives us the history of beer in Iceland. And I could go on. And those special things about Stefan that I think he's so deserving of this award. Now, I just have to mention, he does have some other attributes, and that's his wonderful wife, Cindy. His 2 adult daughters, who are very accomplished in their own rights, and somebody that he often writes about on his Facebook page, Tucker, who he is either grandpa or granddoggy to, I don't know which. Anyways, favorite dog, Tucker. So, Stefan, on behalf of everyone here, on behalf of the Icelandic Canadian Throne, I would like to thank you for all you've done and all your contributions to our Icelandic, contributions to our Icelandic heritage and culture. And I guess as Suna said, you are Stefan's superhero. So Stefan would like to come up with a superhero. And we're also delighted to have Joan's son here, Joe, and he's going to pin on, Stefan's getting a medal. So we don't know whether there's protocol for that, but I think he can wear it this evening. So he's going to get a little medal to put on his lapel, and Joe's going to do that. And I just want to also mention to Joe that I did a lot of work with Joe, and really enjoyed her when she was editor. And so I'm so pleased that Stefan's getting the second award in this category.
I just want to say it's a great honor that my mother is memorialized in this way for this award. On behalf of my siblings, all of her grandchildren, some of which are Snorri attendees, have been in the past, and all of her great friends in Saskatchewan, those who are here and those who wish they could be here, we miss her greatly. It is so much an honor. Inga, it was a great thrill for her, my sister, to come present last year. And in this particular case, there's an Icelandic proverb or saying that loosely goes that someone who has no dragon to slay turns their spear upon themselves. And for my mom, that dragon was always the possibility that people would forget where they came from. And her spear was her pen or her keyboard, any way she had to communicate her own voice. and it would be a great thrill to her that Stefan will be receiving this award this year.
I can't remember whether they said 2 minutes or tea and drop. We'll go with 2 minutes. When I learned I had been nominated for the Joan Inge Nielsen Cadam Award, I raised my personal objection to being considered, citing several good reasons for me to be disqualified, while naming 9 more suitable candidates just off the top of my head. However, the board ignored my entreaties, which only goes to show you that my prose is thoroughly unpersuasive. All that said, I was flattered by the nomination, almost a little embarrassed by the attention, and I'm deeply honored to receive this award. So thank you. Thank you to all those who conspired in this effort. I should just say I had a Freudian slip here when I wrote this and initially wrote error. This award honors Joan's memory as much as it honors its annual recipient. Joan and I first met 2 decades ago. In those years, I used to preach in Wynyard once every summer. Joan always attended, and she often reported on my sermons in the Wynyard Advance. She made quite an impression on me, this modern-day good reader, the far traveled, and I enjoyed her company whenever our paths crossed. When I followed her as editor of Lochberg Heimskringla, she was generous with her time, her advice, her support, and her commiseration. Few cultures, if any, prize the written word as much as Icelanders do. From the sagas and the Eddas to the carefully researched work of scholars, from the sermon and folktale collections read during Kvöldvaka to the plays and novels of modern times, from ancient rimur to modern poetry and song, and from the annual Jólabókaflóð to this morning's newspaper, words matter to Icelanders. And those who shape them create and ground our consciousness as a people. In Lochberg Heimskringla and Icelandic Connection magazine, we have two incomparable publications that keep the spirit of our community alive and convey its traditions across time and generations, along with several splendid club newsletters. Then there are the novelists and the essayists, the filmmakers and the playwrights, the poets and the songwriters. We could easily take it all for granted, but we would do so at our peril. There is nothing inevitable about these publications or the people who create them. They exist through the devotion of volunteer contributors and faithful subscribers, willing advertisers, and generous donors. They continue through intentional effort, ongoing appreciation, and the investment of time, money, and energy. And so I gratefully accept this award in the name of all those whose efforts keep these treasures alive. Thank you all again.